Hey there, and welcome to my lazy review of this new film called Barbie, starring Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I don't have the biggest audience by any means, and I've only been doing YouTube for a little bit over a year. And so far, out of everything I've ever talked about, I've never had one situation where something was so fucking terrible that I have trouble even talking about it. But the only good thing is I have a little helper that can help me talk about how shitty this movie was, and trust me, it's shitty. And oh god, this right here is going to help me out so much.
I have a problem with alcohol and I need help.
However, I do believe it is good to have a formula and also a routine. So before I start drinking alcohol, if you are new to my channel and never seen one of my videos, I like to drink and also rant or praise something that I love or hate. But before I do that, I do have to ask three very important questions. Number one is, did I like the film? And if you could tell by my demeanor, you already know the answer. But number two is, would I recommend you seeing this film? But for me, the third one and the most important is, do I feel like this movie is worth your hard-earned time and money? Perhaps maybe go see a matinee, check out a Redbox or digital rental, or skip the movie altogether. And I'm sure you can imagine what I'm going to say. So what I'm doing is, this is already open from a stream I was doing the other day, but we have Licks, cocktail, hard lemonade, ready to drink, 13% alcohol. So sometimes I mix soda, sometimes I mix cranberry juice when I drink something, and a special occasion of a movie this fucking terrible, I'm just gonna drink this right out the goddamn bottle. So let's see when I do this drum roll, and I recommend if the stuff is any good, well, let's see how much I can chug in about 3 or 4 seconds. Are you ready? I am, because I need this shit. Trust me. Okay, let's go. Yeah.
Ah, delicioso.
Okay, now I do have an intro that I want you to enjoy. Before we do that, I just want to say that the marketing is just a big, massive fuck you to everybody because, I watched the first trailer and I won't lie, it seemed like a pretty cheesy, but you know what? I can live with cheesy, I can live with stupid fun, and perhaps, I'm not the target audience, but it seems like it could be a pretty fun, stupid movie that kids would enjoy and adults, we could all laugh about how kind of dumb this is, and boy, were we fucking wrong. So, let me drink some more of this stuff and talk about why I don't care. This movie is a total fucking waste of time. And let me just drink something. Let's go, okay? I'm struggling with this review. Best believe. You ready? Mm, this stuff is good. I'm gonna fucking eat it. Trust me. Now, what is going on with Barbie, and why do I never want to talk about this flaming pile of dog shit ever again? The film starts off with a voiceover by Helen Mirren, which is a fantastic actress in her own right, and they're doing the whole cheap imitation of 2001: A Space Odyssey and the whole music playing, but little girls and dolls have existed apparently since the dawn of time and whatever. As they get older, they want to stop playing with baby dolls and they start destroying them because then, instead of playing with babies and being mothers and being nurturing, fuck all that, start being materialistic and also an asshole and look up to Barbie because Barbie is everything that little girls want to be. She's beautiful and stunning and brave and perfect and has no flaws, and her entire character arc is written by some modern 2023 feminist who you can tell has no fucking male friends, probably hates her goddamn father, and the only boyfriend she gets, well, he comes with batteries.
Vibrator. Vibrators have batteries.
So now Barbie, and I gotta say that too, every Barbie is called Barbie because it's so fucking original, and every Ken is called Ken, and the Margot Robbie version is what they call the stereotypical Barbie. So she is perfect, she has perfect hair, and she's beautiful, and to her credit, Margot Robbie is pretty goddamn good looking. Inside of this really sick fantasy land, all Barbies are perfect, and they hold all positions of power, and it's the whole matriarchy, because inside the real world, apparently, men control everything. Men are fucking perfect. Women can't do anything like hold positions of power, or even vote, or even have a say in a matter, and holy fuck, it's stupid.
No! It's just dumb.
Okay, so now stereotypical Barbie, which is the one that they call Margot Robbie, in the middle of a party, she talks about having these thoughts of death, and the rest of the Barbies are like, what's going on? And she wakes up and things aren't so perfect. She has to make her toast, and her toast now is burnt. She's drinking her milk, and her milk is now expired. she's in her shower and the shower water is cold. But what's even fucking dumber is that when she's taking a shower, nothing comes out, it's the imaginary shit. When she's drinking her milk carton, it's an empty carton of milk and it just says expired because it's so funny. And even when all the characters are on a beach, all the water is fake and all the sand is fake.
That's fucking stupid.
Now, apparently what's happening is that every time something happens inside of the real world, sorry, I'm drinking, it affects Barbie Land, and all the dolls are self-aware. So they're self-aware to the fact that the real world exists, and also all the Ken dolls are self-aware to the fact that the real world exists. So if something happens in our world, this messes up their world. So if you, for argument's sake, were to shave a Barbie doll's head in our world, it'll fuck up them. And I kept thinking to myself that, boy, this is pretty dark because, man, I wish these guys would talk about 99.9% of the shit I did to my sister's Barbie dolls.
You sick fuck.
So now, because of all of these changes, stereotypical Barbie has a talk to Kate McKinnon, and I guess Kate McKinnon plays this weird Barbie where her actual owner was doing strange shit to her, like setting her on fire or fucking up her hair or things like that, and I don't fucking care. But basically, she tells stereotypical Barbie that you have to go to the real world and find out what the hell is going on. So, okay, she has to go to, like, our world. And of course, Ken, what does he do? He follows her because he's a fucking moron, and this entire sequence is god-awful to watch, and it's just cheesy as fuck, and oh boy, as soon as they enter our world, it's as fucking dumb as you can imagine, because of course they're wearing typical Barbie and Ken clothes, and every female is awesome in our world, and every male is a fucking asshole, and they treat Barbie as such. They're insulting her, catcalling her, and obviously she's with her boyfriend Ken, and just right there, in the middle of broad daylight, some random guy goes up to Barbie, he smacks her in her ass, and she turns around and punches him in the face, because I guess it happens every single day that whenever I walk down the street with my hot girlfriend, you know, just random guys walk up and just smack her on her ass, right?
How fucking stupid are you? Huh?
Eventually, Will Ferrell pops up and he works for, you guessed it, Mattel. And of course, every single guy in the boardroom are fucking morons. And eventually, Barbie finds her owner and her daughter and why she's so fucking depressed for. And then Barbie and Ken take her owner and her little girl and go back to Barbie Land with a bunch of humans. And I'm not even fucking lying. All Will Ferrell and his corporate Mattel people, they follow Barbie back to Barbie Land. And oh, fuck.
Make it stop, please! Make it stop!
So now Barbie and her owner and her little girl, I can't remember the woman's name because she's a fucking bitch and I don't care. So they're back in Barbie Land and everything is fantastic. However, now guess what? We have a new villain. And who's the villain? It's Ken.
Are you serious? Are you serious?
Ken comes back and he starts corrupting the other Ken dolls because Ken had a life of the patriarchy in our world because it's so fucked up and these people aren't smart enough to realize the fact that they made all the Ken dolls inside Barbie Land the actual victims because essentially these guys are slaves. There's no equal rights, there's no equal job opportunities, and the Kens are so fucking starved for attention or agency or anything that he even says something like, the Ryan Gosling Ken, that I was in the real world and somebody actually asked me what time it was, and I was so happy to tell them because inside Barbie Land, they're just fucking useless. So the Kens start basically revolting against the Barbies and acting like a stereotypical, I guess, 70s or 80s macho kind of guys and just, watching stuff like The Godfather and Zack Snyder's Justice League and corrupting the Barbies, and now all the Barbies want to start being subservient to the Kens. So now the Barbies went from having all this agency and being strong and independent to now wanting to serve all the Kens because basically what they're mimicking is real life. Because in real life, men just rule everything and women just sit around all day and constantly serve us and tend to our every needs. And you've obviously never met any of my fucking sisters, lady.
They are a savage people.
So before all of the Kens take over and vote on this new constitution, our stereotypical Barbie, the only one that's not brainwashed because she's been to the actual world, her and her scumbag owner have to take each Barbie one-on-one and unbrainwash them. And how do they unbrainwash them? I'm not even joking. They're telling them about themselves, saying things like you have to be strong and independent and how much men hold you down. And I wish I had the time and my phone out to record every single one of these fucking lines because in terms of body positivity and stretch marks and being bitchy and not being assertive, and every time they were unbrainwashing these Barbie dolls, part of my fucking soul died.
It's almost over.
Okay, so as every Barbie doll is being unbrainwashed, then they trick the Ken dolls into fighting each other because, of course, the Ken dolls are all fucking morons. And while they are fighting, all of the Barbies go back to their bullshit White House and they make sure that the Constitution and Bill of Rights for the Barbies is exactly the same. So, of course, the Ken dolls are still essentially fucking slaves. But there is one little caveat, and one of the Ken dolls talks to Madam President, and he asks her, well, maybe possibly, can I be a Supreme Court justice in this new government? And she's like, I can't do that, possibly a lower judge. And of course, we have the voiceover, and I shit you not, a direct quote is, the Kens have to start somewhere. And one day the Kens will have as much power and influence in Barbie land as women have in the real world. And I kept thinking to myself that, wow, I have just one response to that.
Go fuck yourself.
And now, stereotypical Barbie, she wants to become an actual woman, and she comes back to our world, and now she's a person, and I'm not making this stuff up. And oh God, I walked out of this film, and the first thing I was thinking on the drive home is, wow, if anybody asks me how I feel about this film, just one thing comes to mind.
That is one big pile of shit.
Okay, so now we're back to my three questions of, did I like it? Would I recommend you seeing this film? And do I think this movie is worth your hard-earned time and money to check this out? And just, holy fuck, what do you think? And let's talk about this, all right? So,
shit just got real.
All right, did I like this movie? Fuck no. Would I recommend you seeing this and even taking your kids to see this movie? Fuck no. Is this movie worth your time and your money? Fuck no. This movie is not worth the rental. It's not worth talking about ever again. And I've seen some people, a very small percentage of people, that say that, well, dude, people like you, you're not what they would call the target audience. And every time I hear something like that, where this movie isn't made for you because you're not the target audience, again, I have a very good rebuttal.
Fuckface. First, take a big step back and literally fuck your own face!
Because in the end, who is the target audience for a film this fucking terrible? What, little girls? I call bullshit on that, because I can tell you right now, I am the father of a beautiful, handsome, wonderful teenage boy, and I'm hoping one day I get the honor and the privilege of being a father of a daughter. However, I do have sisters, a girlfriend, I had two grandmothers, I have aunts and nieces, etc., etc. And I can tell you one thing, I speak on all their fucking behalfs, where not a single one of them would see a film like this and think this film was any good, because this film fucking sucks. Because you know what? I brought my girl to see in 4D Fast 10. You know what? Fast 10 is fucking stupid, but she had a great time watching it. My sister watched John Wick 4 twice. She fucking loved it. Just because they weren't the target audience doesn't mean they couldn't enjoy these films. When I was younger, let's be honest, boys and girls, 95% of all Disney films from the 80s, 90s, and even the 2000s weren't directed for people like me. I still grew up with timeless classics like the original Little Mermaid and even The Lion King. Stuff later on like Frozen and stuff like Moana, which I thought were fantastic. Possibly, maybe, I'm not sure. You could make something that is made for everybody.
That's pretty simple, really.
The bottom line is, as much as I'm ranting, I don't even hate this goddamn movie. I feel two things walking out of this film. I feel sympathy and also empathy. I feel sympathetic and also empathetic for every single actor who had to star in this bullshit movie. I feel bad for every producer who had to put their name and their money into this goddamn movie. And truth be told, I don't even hate the director, and she also co-wrote this thing, Greta, and I just feel bad for you, lady, because you'll never see this. You have a very fucked up view of the world and a very fucked up view of men, and I'm not sure where this comes from. Maybe you had some shitty older brothers. Maybe you had some very shitty ex-boyfriends. I wasn't there, mind you. I'm just playing a guessing game and throwing ideas out there, but perhaps, I don't know, your dad was touching you in the same way that most boys touch Barbie dolls.
That is sick, man.
Someone's ears were burning.
In the end, I have to rate every movie, and how the fuck do I rate something as goddamn awful as Barbie? This movie, by all accounts, for me, is very simply and easily put, a goddamn waste of time. And this movie is a fucking waste of time. I never want to talk about it again. I'm damn sure never going to watch it again. And it is a real tragedy because you had a great actress who's very beautiful and talented of Margot Robbie. Ryan Gosling, the guy's good looking, better looking than I'll ever fucking be, and infinitely more talented. And I can tell you one thing, from a parent standpoint, if anybody sees this and you brought your son or daughter to see this movie and you walked out thinking to yourself that, my God, this was such a great message for my children, I hope and pray Child Protective Services comes and takes your fucking kids.
Some people should not be allowed to be parents.
That's it. There's nothing else I can say. I may piss one or two people off, but at this point, this movie was so fucking terrible, I don't care. As I always do, I have to check my watch because I am always fucking low on time. And then I have to get ready for my great and wonderful job.
I hate my job.
I will always be a massive fan of The Critical Drinker, and he made his own Barbie review, and he tore this film apart in better ways than I ever could. So I'm going to leave a link for his video in the description down below. And if you guys made it this far, thank you so much for watching me. Thank you so much for listening to my rambling. And that's it. I'm going to grab Bender, finish this stuff, and I just have to get to editing. I'm burnt out. I'll see you later, okay?
This calls for a drink.
I'm so glad I had this stuff with me, okay? Well, one last thing.
It's called a catchphrase.
After seeing this movie, I am looking forward to going back to work.